At 34 years old, your best football is supposed to be behind you, unless your name is Francesco Acerbi. After a transfer to Inter Milan to be a backup center back, he shocked everyone by being an important piece to 2 Champions League final runs. But doing the improbable wasn't anything new to Acerbi. This is the story of a player with undefeatable fighting spirit who conquered cancer, dethroned depression, and defied all odds to play his best football in his late 30s. Before anyone knew his name, Francesco Acerbi was just another kid in the lower leagues of Italian football. Born in a small town called Vizzolo Predabisi, his early years weren't glamorous. They were a grind. No youth contract at a Serie A academy, no scouts lining up at his door, just a skinny teenager hustling at clubs like Pavia and Spezia, trying to prove he even belonged in the professional system. It was at Pavia that he made his senior debut in 2006, but instead of rising quickly, he bounced between loans, sometimes playing in the third tier, sometimes barely playing at all. He wasn't lighting up stat sheets, he wasn't drawing headlines, but something kept him going. In 2010, things finally started to move. Regina, a club in Serie B, took a chance on him. For the first time, Acerbi had a place to grow, and he made it count. He became a regular, a fighter in the backline. Big clubs started to notice. By 2011, Genoa bought him and flipped him to Chievo Verona, where he would make his long-awaited Serie A debut at 23. No hype, no fanfare, just a defender who had clawed his way up one hard-earned tackle at a time. In 2012, Francesco Acerbi's consistent performances at Chievo caught the attention of AC Milan, leading to a significant move to the Rossoneri. However, his time in Milan was challenging. He struggled to secure a regular spot, making only 6 appearances before being transferred to Genoa in January 2013. Later that year, Acerbi joined newly promoted Sassuolo, aiming for a fresh start. But his big break wasn't what it seemed, and what came next would nearly shatter him for good. Francesco Acerbi thought he made it. After bouncing around clubs for years, he finally found some stability in 2013 when he joined newly promoted Sassuolo. It felt like a fresh start, a chance to settle in, prove himself, and finally build something long-term in Serie A. But just weeks into his time with the club, everything stopped. During a routine preseason medical check, doctors discovered a tumor in one of his testicles. It was cancer. Surgery followed almost immediately, and in a show of incredible resilience, Acerbi returned to playing not long after. Most people would have taken months to even process the news. He just kept going. But underneath the surface, the cracks were widening. Just a few years earlier, Acerbi had lost his father, his closest confidant and role model. The grief hit hard and lingered, pushing him into a dark spiral. He started drinking heavily. Depression and alcoholism clouded his life off the pitch. He admits now that he was showing up to training still drunk, just going through the motions. Cancer forced him to face the truth. His health, his career, his future. It was all slipping. And for the first time, he decided to fight for something more than football. He got help. He committed to turning his life around, not just physically, but mentally. And then, fate tested him again. In December 2013, he failed a routine doping test. At first, it caused confusion until the real reason came out. The test had picked up elevated levels of HCG, a hormone that signaled his cancer had come back. And this time, surgery wasn't enough. Acerbi had to go through full chemotherapy, missing months of the season. For some, this would have ended their career. For Acerbi, it became fuel. He came back in 2014 not just as a survivor, but as a completely transformed player. Over the next few seasons, he became a wall in Sassuolo's back line. Reliable, relentless, unshakable. He didn't miss a single league match for 3 straight seasons. At one point, he went 149 consecutive Serie A matches without missing a game. He later said, "Cancer was my luck. It forced me to grow up, to stop wasting time." And it showed, not just in his football, but in how he carried himself. He became more focused, more disciplined, more mentally tough than ever before. and yet he was just getting started because Lazio was waiting, and they wouldn't just revive his career, they'd help him conquer Europe. If you're enjoying the incredible story of Francesco Acerbi so far, please drop a like on the video. By 2018, Francesco Acerbi was no longer just a cancer survivor or a reliable journeyman. He was a man with unfinished business, and Lazio gave him the perfect platform. When he joined the club, Acerbi was tasked with replacing Stefan de Vrij, one of the league's most consistent defenders. It wasn't a small task, but Acerbi didn't just step into the role, he owned it. He played every single minute of his first season with Lazio. No rest, no rotation. Just pure, relentless consistency. He brought leadership, calmness, and surprisingly elegant footwork for a center back. His left foot became a launch pad for attacks, and his reading of the game made him nearly impossible to shake. But what truly made Acerbi stand out was his attitude. He wasn't trying to be flashy, he was there to do a job, and do it better than anyone else. By 2019, that discipline earned him a recall to the Italian national team. At 31, most players are slowing down. Acerbi was just getting started. He played a crucial role in Italy's Euro 2020 triumph. In the round of 16 against Austria, he came off the bench and made a massive impact, assisting the match winner in extra time. Italy would go on to lift the trophy, and Acerbi's quiet heroics didn't go unnoticed. This was the redemption arc in full motion. A man who had once been written off for being inconsistent, then nearly lost to illness, was now a European champion. At Lazio, he also lifted the Coppa Italia in 2019 and the Supercoppa Italiana the same year. But more than silverware, he had earned respect. And just when it seemed his story had reached its peak, Inter Milan came calling, and so did the Champions League. By the time Francesco Acerbi signed for Inter Milan in 2022, most assumed he was brought in as a backup. He was 34, past his physical prime, and joining a club with serious ambitions in Europe. But as always, Acerbi didn't care about what people assumed. He cared about proving himself again. The move from Lazio wasn't flashy, it was practical. Inter needed experience at the back, someone they could trust in high-pressure moments. Acerbi gave them exactly that and more. In his first full season, he helped Inter reach the Champions League final in 2023. He started in Istanbul against Manchester City, keeping out the man he was supposed to replace at Lazio, Stefan de Vrij. Though Inter narrowly lost, Acerbi was one of their standout performers, a rock in defense that kept the most lethal striker of the year off the score sheet. Acerbi, despite being physically outmatched and 10+ years older, he won his individual matchup versus Erling Haaland. But he wasn't done writing chapters. Fast forward to May 6, 2025, Champions League semifinal. Inter Milan versus Barcelona, second leg, San Siro. The match was chaos. Inter had led 2-0 on the night, but crumbled late, allowing Barcelona to storm back and lead 3-2 by the 87th minute. It looked over. Then came minute 93. Acerbi, now 37 years old, and his 20th professional season, pushed forward one last time. Denzel Dumfries found him with a low pass, and with the cleanest first strike of his career, Acerbi smashed the ball into the net, 3-3. The stadium erupted. It was Acerbi's first ever goal in the Champions League, and it couldn't have come at a more crucial time. That goal wasn't just an equalizer. It was a lifeline, a spark. It brought Inter back from the dead. Barcelona were stunned. Extra time followed. Inter pushed forward with renewed belief. Then came Fratesi's winner. Final score, 4-3 on the night, 7-6 on aggregate. Acerbi's stoppage time goal had single-handedly launched Inter's comeback and booked their ticket to the Champions League final. Not bad for a guy who once couldn't even get a full season at Milan. He once said, "Without cancer, I would have retired at 28, but with cancer, my real life began." That quote tells you everything. Acerbi didn't just survive, he evolved. He turned his pain into strength, his setbacks into lessons, and his career into a blueprint for perseverance. Francesco Acerbi never asked to be a hero, but by refusing to break, he became one anyway.